welcome back, and starting our first segment of the breakfast show with our guest, Mr. Mohamed, sheta media expert, and we're going to comment on the news headlines. Good morning, sir, and welcome to Breakfast Show.
Thank you very much. A very good morning to you too.
Thank you. First, we're going to start with Akhbar al-Yom newspaper, where we read during a speech inaugurating 8 power plant stations on Tuesday. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi also addressed Israeli leaders and Egypt's Palestinian neighbors, stressing that peace, prosperity and cooperation will only take place if both parties are able to reach a two-state solution. And we have more about this in the following report.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi called on Tuesday on Palestinians and Israelis to seize the opportunity to reach a peace agreement to settle their conflict. The president made the call in his speech during the inauguration of a number of power projects in Asyut. The president referred to a number of initiatives to settle the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. Al-Sisi called on Israeli parties and factions to unite for achieving peace. The president also stressed on the need to give hope to the Palestinians and security to Israeli people. The president said that Israelis and Palestinians need look no further than the 1979 Egyptian-Israeli peace treaty to see the positive outcome of peacemaking. Al-Sisi said that Egypt is prepared to make every effort to contribute to an Israeli-Palestinian settlement. The United States has regularly called for a two-state solution to the Middle East crisis since the last U.S. broker talks collapsed in April 2014.
And still with Mr. Mohamed sheta, sir, what's your comment on the speech delivered by the president yesterday regarding the Palestinian treaty between Israel and with the Israelis?
I think this comes very similar to the response of many other international and foreign leaders, especially after the meeting between the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the French Foreign Minister Jean-Marc Ayrault, in which Benjamin Netanyahu opposed the French suggestion for a peace conference in November, end of this year, and especially after the U.S. initiative more or less failed in April 2014, and there has really been no development at all. And I think everyone concerned, not only in Europe but also in the Middle East region, is really keen on getting both the Israeli party as well as the Palestinian party side on the negotiation table again. There is supposed a minister meeting supposed to be taking place on May 30th in Paris. Will not include the Israeli and the Palestinian side. It will include the Arab League, it will include the United Nations, it will include some other 20 nations. But like I said before, the Israeli government is not really happy with the side which many European countries, especially including also France, is taking, because they have noticed that Israel is not really very serious in achieving a serious and a comprehensive peace agreement. And of course, Netanyahu, this might also be a internal political a trick from Netanyahu's side, because he is currently in negotiation with the Zionist Union Party, which is a center-left party in Israel, in order maybe to have a cooperation with them in the parliament, because he only has a majority of one seat, if I'm not mistaken. So I think there's lots of internal politics also included in his position, and probably this is why President al-Sisi decided to talk about this during the inauguration of those projects in Asyut recently.
Okay, and moving to Akhbar al-Yom newspaper, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi inaugurated on Tuesday 8 power stations, adding 3,600 megawatts to the national electricity grid at a total cost of $2.7 billion. The projects, several of which entered service throughout the past year, included the Upper Egypt West Asyut Power Station that has a production capacity amounting to 1,000 megawatts, and more in the following report.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi inaugurated on Tuesday the new West Asyut power station, one of the biggest development projects in Upper Egypt, with a capacity of 1,500 megawatt. The President also inaugurated 8 power stations in many governorates via video conference. During the ceremony, the President said that the challenge of power shortage started in 2008, noting that the total volume of power production by the end of this year will reach 4,400 megawatts. The President confirmed that the most advanced safety standard will be implemented in the Daba nuclear station, praising as unprecedented the achievements of the past 2 years. El-Sisi also inspected the new Asyut barrage project and its hydroelectric station aims to improve the irrigation system in Upper Egypt. The project will be fully operated by September 2017. During the next 7 months, more than power plants will operate at a total investment of 20 billion Egyptian pounds.
And yesterday was the inauguration of Asyut mega power station, which is a mega project. Mr. Mohamed, what's your opinion about those projects that are recently inaugurated?
I think those are very, very important projects actually, especially if we want to attract foreign and Egyptian investors. They need to make sure that they have enough electricity for the project to run in an effective way. So this is definitely the first step to do so. The second thing is if we can compare the electricity situation now with the situation during the past couple of years, like when Mohamed Morsi was president, or even before that, of course we are now hardly witnessing any electricity blackouts, even with the high temperatures where lots of people are using the air condition. So I think it's definitely a huge improvement, and probably, I mean, you and your friends and your family, probably everyone is talking about it, that there are hardly any electricity blackouts anymore. So it's good that they started also these projects in Upper Egypt as well, not only in Cairo and the major cities.
Okay, moving to Lahran newspaper, where Washington said that it seeks to maintain a vibrant and healthy ties with Egypt a day ahead of a brief visit by U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry to Cairo. Kerry is expected to meet with President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi on Wednesday during a short trip to the Egyptian capital, the second in less than a month. This is also weird. This is a second visit in a short time by U.S. John Kerry, which he rarely come to the Middle East, but 2 times in Egypt. Why?
I think this shows again that Egypt is playing a very, very important role, not only in front of the curtain but also behind the curtains. And this is for one. This is the first reason. The second reason, of course, Obama wants to achieve, before he leaves the office, he wants to achieve a significant or a touchable progress in the Middle East.
He has no time.
Not much time left, but I mean they're giving their best, and you know, the American counterparts are very good in delivering good speeches and nice honey talk, like they say. For example, we have want to have vibrant ties with Egypt and everything. At the end of the day, it's they're also looking for their own sake, you know, and for their own benefit. So I think Egypt should use this momentum of such a very good friendship between Egypt and the United States, and also benefit from this from the position Egypt is currently having in achieving what they think is good for Egypt and the Egyptian people.
But do you believe he has other things that he's going to discuss with President el-Sisi during his visit that is not known? Do they have other things in mind?
Definitely the peace process is definitely on top of the agenda, even if they're going to talk about other things like terrorism and other things. But the fact that the French Minister of Foreign Affairs just met with Netanyahu, and that they're preparing the conference now end of May, as well as the Minister Conference end of May, as well as the main conference end of this year, shows that there's lots of momentum in the peace process right now, and that they really want to solve the problem, because actually solving the peace process, as well as the other regional problems like the Syrian problem, will definitely be very, very convenient for most of the European countries, especially with the refugee problem in Europe currently. So I think those are the main reasons why we have so many important visits to Egypt and the region these days.
Okay, and moving to Al Masri Yom newspaper, where locals and visitors to Egypt are be allowed free entry to museums across the country on Wednesday as a marker of International Museum Day, an occasion that falls on May 18th of every year. In a statement, the head of the Antiquities Minister Museums Sector, Ilham Salah said that granting free entry has been a tradition adopted by the ministry lately to encourage Egyptians to visit museums. It is hoped that this will help citizens apprehend their cultural heritage. Okay, it's a good step, of course, but speaking about antiquities, and there are lots of thefts for antiquities, and they are not giving much care to this important Egyptian heritage. What do you think of this?
I think that the Egyptian government has not been really aware about the importance of and the significance of the Egyptian antiquities over the past decades, not only over the past couple of years. And what you also lack, I mean, this is a nice step. It's a nice one. It's a nice step. But it's definitely not enough. We need culture education in all different sectors, in the media sector, in the educational sectors, in the different school books, for example. We need to educate the kids when they're still 5 to 6 years old. What does it mean to have such an heritage and such a vast numbers of antiquities and sightseeing locations in Egypt, for example. We need to promote antiquities and tourism much more. I don't know if you've seen the recent video which was promoted by Iran, which says it's a tourism promotional video, and it says, "Do not go to Iran." And of course, anyone reading "Do not go to Iran" will click the video. Headline. It's a very eye-catching headline, and if you go to it, then you will see the video talking about the misconceptions and the wrong myths they have about Iran. And it's actually an amazing video, and I hope that the gentleman from the Ministry of Tourism and the Egyptian Tourism Authority would really have a look at this video and see what we can learn from the others, because actually this is an amazingly out-of-the-box thinking video. Another thing is we need also to focus on other things like motorsport tourism and ecotourism, for example. I don't know if many of our viewers noticed that the Fattah rally withdrew recently from Egypt, and that they canceled the rally which was supposed to be staged in October, if I'm not mistaken. This is something unacceptable. We need to have international events. We have lots of athletes which are very successful in squash and tennis and other sports, and I think we have lots of potential also to host international motorsport events in Egypt, and even start with local motorsport events. For example, we have one of the oldest automobile clubs worldwide, the Egyptian Automobile Club here in Egypt. I think it's 120 years old or something like this. So we should use this heritage we have and the potential we have, and really start organizing local championships in order to attract international championships.
To make a real propaganda about what we have here in Egypt, and encourage people to come to the country, because really we need them.
Of course.
Okay, and moving to Al-Ahram or online, where Egyptian-Greek maritime military exercise held in Egyptian regional waters and on the beaches of Alexandria concluded Monday, according to Armed Forces spokesperson Brigadier General Mohamed Samir. The joint military training between the two nations' navies, named Alexandria 2016, was held to encourage the continuation of the development and the consolidation of military relations between Egypt and Greece. What's the importance of these mutual trainings between the countries?
I think one of the maybe not so obvious points for this importance is that Greece is a very close neighbor to Turkey, so it's always good to have good contacts with Greece in order to know what's happening in Turkey, and I think this is definitely one of the many reasons why we have so close ties to Greece, especially over the past couple of months, actually, since the crisis with Turkey, between Turkey and Egypt, increased and erupted. It definitely, we also saw in the Greek and Egyptian relationship. So I think this might be one of the reasons.
Well, Mr. Mohamed, Sheta, media expert, thank you very much for joining us, and welcome once again to Breakfast Show.
Thank you very much for having me here, and have a lovely day, and to you, to all your viewers.
And please stay tuned for a short break, and we'll come back soon.